the Unsung House engineer boots in Maryam black Horsebutt. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to BootTube, a social media platform designed specifically for boot related content. Any other content that you find on this platform that is not boot related needs to be reported and taken down, because all that flat earth crap, all that inner earth, reptilian, chemtrails, UAP alien crap should not be here. BootTube is only for boots and boots alone. What are we looking at today? Today we're looking at some Unsung bootmaker and repair house engineer boots in Maryam's black Horsebutt. Let's get a look at these bad boys. These belong to my buddy Mario at Boot Reaper, so follow him and watch how these boots patina. As always with Unsung House, I'm always very impressed by their boot bags. So it says on here, Unsung U22-2 engineer boot for generous use in service of good. Thoughtfully made, one pair at a time. Take care. I have done other videos on Unsung, so I don't need to go into their whole origin story on this one. If you want that, a more comprehensive overview, then go back and check out some of my old videos. I have made hundreds of videos just like this one you're watching right now. For my loyal viewers, thank you for returning. For my unloyal viewers, Alright, so Unsung is a shop specializing in hand-welt constructed boots, shoes, and leather goods. They strive for an ideal balance of form and function in everything they make. The highest quality materials designed and crafted to be lifetime pieces. Everything is made by hand in our Nashville, Tennessee workshop. And you know, I'm quite fond of Tennessee. I was there a couple years ago. It's just a beautiful state. It really, in my opinion, sort of encompasses the spirit of what America is. Really amazing farms, really amazing people there, beautiful scenery, beautiful parks. And you might be asking yourself, Dale, where'd you get that fantastic tan? Well, let me tell you what, I just got back from Panama. I had a great time there. I took my daughter there, she graduated high school, and so we took a trip down to Panama last week. And so I'm a little behind on orders and a little behind on other things, you know, but I had an absolutely phenomenal time. I got to hang out with my buddy Eli at the Heritage Tribute. Panama City has a lot of really cool old Christian churches. I believe 7 in total that we got to go walk around at night in Casco Viejo, which is their old historic neighborhood, which is just absolutely amazing. And then Eli took us on a really cool tour. It was a boat tour where monkeys jumped onto the boat. That was really awesome. But you had to be careful because the monkeys will try to steal your belongings. But they were happy to come and get the free food that was handed out to them by the tour guides. And so yeah, we had a great time. We went ziplining, we went to a small island, took a boat there, a ferry, and spent the day on an island. We basically had our own private beach. That was really amazing. The food was absolutely phenomenal, and the hotel we stayed at, Hotel La Compania, nicest hotel I've ever stayed at in my life. No exaggeration. The people wait on you hand and foot. Everybody there is like super duper service oriented. They would not let you open a door. They'd open it for you. Anything you needed, they would go fix it. They did a really good valet service. Everything was just super convenient, and just the city, the landscape is just phenomenal. I love South America. I feel really at home among the people. They're always so warm and welcoming. And one cool little anecdote that I should share is there's a tribe, an indigenous tribe in Panama called the Embera tribe. While we were ziplining, our zipline guide, he was like, yeah, I'm part of the Embera tribe. And he taught me an Embera word, which is biabua. Biabua means thank you. And so I thought that was super cool. So there are some Emberos there that do not speak Spanish. They hold on to their cultural heritage that strongly, and it's so cool. I'm a language nerd. I'm always super interested when you've got a language that is protected and is preserved. I think it's important, frankly. I think there's a lot to words, and the more words you know, the better off you are in life, I think. Huge thanks to Eli for showing us around, for taking us around, for giving us great recommendations. It was just an amazing trip. And anyways, was this a boot review? Let's get back to the boots. So these are going to be Unsung Engineers in Maryam Black Horse Rump. These are definitely Maryam Black Horse Rump. I could tell just by looking at it. It's got a distinctive look. They do an amazing job with this leather. You always see just these amazing ripples and character throughout the leather. Amazing striations throughout the vamp. We have a very unique and prominent toe track. Normally the toe track is raised, as in it's sticking out like an Audi belly button. In this case, it is sunken in. It's indented, actually. So that's a unique toe track. That would have meant, so the toe track is formed during the crimping process. That would have meant they would have just crimped it from the opposite direction when they did that. So that's really cool. There's really cool scars throughout the leather, and it's just a killer engineer build. I'll compare it to some other engineers here in a second, but I really just want to analyze this one. So yeah, nice nickel hardware on there, beautiful stitch work, beautiful cutting and clicking on the pieces, amazing smooth black finishing on the edge of the sole. These are 180 degree hand welted, actually 270 degree on the outer side, 180 degree hand welted on the inside. And what's most noteworthy is how aggressive of a chiseling we have right in here. That is really cool. I don't normally see that on many boot builds, but it is an aggressive taper right here, chiseled right in the waist right there. So that'll bring some good comfort. One of my favorite things about this boot is this cork outsole. Cork outsoles, I always talk about leather soles, but cork outsoles are definitely second. They offer just the same amount of support as a leather outsole does. The only downside is it doesn't breathe, but the upside is it's a lot more durable and a lot more grippy. You're not going to be slipping on marble floors in these unless the marble floor is wet, of course, but it's got some good, it's like a pencil eraser almost, except for much more hardened. Yeah, beautiful flex throughout the outsole. And then my other favorite feature of the sole, all these brass nails in the bottom. So there's 18 brass nails, and they're hammered in a zigzag pattern, hammered in and positioned by eye, which is just amazing. I love getting glimpses of the handmade feel in every aspect of the boot, and this does not disappoint. Additionally, the stitch channel from the outsole, you can see it. It's really cool how it starts here, goes around, and then ends down here. Amazing. So it follows the welting identically. Got a nice instep strap, nice ankle strap up here. On the inside, it's unlined except for in the vamp. So I believe the vamp is lined and structured. On the inside, there is a stamp, Unsung, made by hand, size 10. Nice rounded last shape with a little bit of squaring off towards the toe. Then my other favorite part is this quarter horse Tennessee Steppers heel with a horse emblem embossed into it and a moon. That's cool. I've never seen a quarter horse heel cap before. And then we've got this beautifully sanded woodsman heel. Yeah, 4 layers of edge tan followed by the cork, which serves as the midsole and the outsole. And then there's another layer of edge tan above the cork outsole right here. That's awesome. Really unique construction here. And then the back heel stay is very unique as well. It's got an elegant shape and stitch pattern to it. And then of course a roll top collar at the throat. It does not have a pull tab. One thing with engineers that I've learned is you absolutely need a boot jack to get out of your engineers. Getting into engineers is easy. Getting out is another story. I have a boot jack next to my bed that whenever I'm wearing a slip-on boot like an engineer, always got to use that boot jack to get out of it. Trust me, it'll save your lower back. Unsung half insole down there, embossed with a U. Yeah, on this right boot, I see a lot of shell remnants, which is neat. For those not in the know, all shell is horsebutt, but not all horsebutt is shell. And that is because this is one of my favorite tricks to do in the middle of a video. What we have here is a side of macchiato horse rump from Maryam Tannery that I sell kilties in, that you could get at dalesleatherworks.com. And as you can see, beautiful, glowing, opulent horse rump on one side. And then on the reverse side, what's all this craziness going on? As you can see, it's not uniform grain. So this whole thing is going to be used in the clicking process while making the boots. And then this membrane area here that you can see, this is actually the shell. And the reason why they'll use sides of horsebutt like this as horsebutt as opposed to using it as shell is because the shell is just kind of inconsistent. The shape of the shell varies from horse to horse, and in this case the tanner would have determined that we're going to use this side as horsebutt instead of as shell, because to cut this out and to try to make shell out of it, the shell would just be a little too inconsistent for their standards. They sell this whole piece as horse rump, including the shell. So that's why in your horse rump boots, if they're unlined, you could look on the inside. You could do that right now. You could pause the video or not pause the video and go look at your horse rump boots on the inside, and you might catch a glimpse of the shell membrane in there. There is some on the left boot as well, more up the back. So this portion is going to be shell here, but you'd never know. You'd never know just by looking at the outside. This portion has a lot of shell right up here. You can't tell by the grain patterns of the leather either, I've found. So like I used to think, oh, the areas maybe with, I don't know, honeycombing has shell underneath. No, it's not true. It might or might not. Yeah, leather is a lot of fun to try to figure out. At this point of the review, I'm going to do something that I hate doing, which is consulting Reddit for anything. It's normally a bad idea, but sometimes the boot content can be informative, I will concede. The Goodyear welt thread on Reddit sometimes has good stuff. Sometimes. In this case, yeah, a guy, Moto-sama, left a Reddit review on the Unsung House U22 engineer boots. He says, these are my MTO engineer boots from Unsung House. I got on their list in October 2023. Production started in June 2024, and I was wearing them a month later. Great turnaround in today's world of 24 to 36 month wait time. Grant was awesome with communication along the way and helped me take a less than clear vision into focus with some tangible choices and options I hadn't thought of or known about. The really informative and interesting part of the process was getting to know the full makeup of a boot like this. I went with Maryam Tuscanello Horsebutt with their in-house walnut overdye. That is really cool. I reviewed another pair of engineers from Unsung in walnut overdye, and if I recall correctly, that pair had the toe track, but it was a raised toe track protruding outward. It was an Audi belly button, if you will. He says, the result of these is a really cool wood grain-like effect and marbled look that I love. Wow. Yeah, that was a decent Reddit write-up. I have to admit, you know, sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes Reddit can come through, but always walk slowly and carry a big stick. There is a lot of, well, I probably shouldn't say less than desirable opinions to be found. Interesting comparison might be comparing my Renav Goods horsebutt engineers in black oiled shinky horsebutt compared to the Maryam horsebutt. So as you can see, first and foremost, the Maryam horsebutt has somewhat of a matte appearance, not so shiny. Could be shined, but it's not. Whereas these shinky engineers absolutely have a shiny luster to them, and the shinky grain is absolutely like very, very aggressively pronounced. You see a lot of the honeycombing up here, you see a lot of ripples here. You can tell that this leather was shrunken down probably a lot more compared to the Maryam. My engineers these are 8-inch engineers. These appear to be, what am I gonna try to guess? When I could just get my handy dandy engineer boot measuring device here, otherwise known as a measuring tape. So from the bottom to the top, it is roughly 13 inches. From the sole to the top, it's 11 inches. Whereas my 8-inch engineers, bottom to top, are 9.5 inches, and heel to the top, 8 inches. These would be 8-inch engineers, and then these would be 11-inch engineers. Obviously the lasts are different. This was actually the last that Renab Goods I had built custom for my foot. Nice raised walls, very bulbous. But the typical and classic engineer is going to be something more like this. These are my flathead engineers in natural chromic cell, and you can see it's a lot sleeker toe, unstructured. What I like about the flathead slash John Lofgren engineers is this portion, the shin covering or the throat, is not so bulbous that you can't fit it under a slim leg pant opening. I could absolutely wear these with my J. Crew 484s, which have a 14-inch leg opening or 7-inch leg opening, whatever metric you care to measure them by. So these go great with skinny denim, fine, no problem there. These, on the other hand, you're definitely going to need either a straight leg or somewhat of a wider leg opening to get this shaft up underneath that pant leg, because as you can see, there's a lot of material here. I prefer a slimmer shaft, but some guys like the more bulbous one. You see larger shafts usually in cases of like cowboy boots. They generally have like a lot of extra material up here, again, to fit like a boot cut or a straight leg denim, which is customary amongst the cowboy community, I think. And yeah, it appears Unsung posted this pair. I'm not sure if it's exactly this pair, but it looks like it. They posted it, they said 3 weeks ago, getting through the pre-orders for 001 batch, U22-2 engineers. Should have them finished and up in the next 2 weeks. Yeah, that looks like this pair. So yeah, Unsung is doing great work. What really captivates me about them is their walnut over dyeing method that I've seen them do before. And on the other pair of engineers that I reviewed, they were over dyed with the walnut stuff. And just this past March, Unsung posted, "Today's our 3-year anniversary. Isaac and I started slow and quiet on March 8th, 2022, and we're extremely grateful to be where we are today. Thank you so much to our wonderful customers and anyone who has supported our work over the last 3 years." You're welcome, guys. I haven't ordered from you, but I made some videos, so I hope that counts for something. This year has already been very exciting with the addition of Balcom denim to the shop. We've got some collaborations in the works, but for now, check out Kelsey's repair and custom work on her page. We feel extremely lucky to have the opportunity to learn and grow in this craft. It is not taken for granted. And one thing that's kind of neat is Standard and Strange did a run of Unsung House Desert Fever Dream engineer boots in natural Maryam Rovescio Sego horsebutt, as well as Unsung House Slog boots in walnut overdye olive latigo. They're retailing at $1,700 for the engineers. Rovescio means reverse and Sego means tallow. So that's really cool to see Unsung actually working with retailers in this space. The overdye olive ones start at $14.75, but again, this stuff's made in America. You're supporting the American economy, and everybody's complaining about tariffs these days. Well, if you have a problem with the tariffs, I have news for you. I have good news for you. You can just buy American. It'll be great for U.S. Makers, U.S. craftsmen. That is my decree for the day. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about the engineers by Unsung House? As always, I am blown away by what I'm seeing. Super glad that they're still in business, and they appear to be growing. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to report all the non-boot content related channels on YouTube, on BootTube, sorry. YouTube is not just for anybody, it's for only boot content. That's all there should be on YouTube. I mean BootTube. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. End of transmission.